BARD rework to make the class more gear and attribute dependent. Added new attributes, manual dexterity, and persuasion. Okay, I have a problem with this, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. BARD. Is it dead? I know. Let's make the new guide here and get through this real quick. Go over the new stats, right? We got 2 new stats that they decided to put on us. Persuasiveness and manual dexterity. Both of these stats are effective on BARD only, it seems like, for the time being. Persuasiveness increases the base duration of special effects such as BARD songs. This is new buff duration. That also stacks with, or goes alongside with, will buff duration as well. So now our will increases our buff duration, and our persuasiveness also increases our song's buff duration. Other than that, we have manual dexterity. This attribute determines how quickly a bard plays an instrument. So this means how long it takes to play Chord of Clarity, Rousing Rhythms, stuff like that. With the stats out of the way, we will go into our perks and skills. Now we'll talk about what perks and skills I think we should be picking at this point. For me, I like to pick Rapier Mastery, a Storyteller, Charismatic Performance, and then swapping out either Wanderer's Luck if you're going in for elite kills, if you're doing coffin runs or mining runs in the ruins, or if you're bossing, you want to bring Wanderer's Luck. If you're not doing any of that, if you're grinding leaderboards, if you're going for #1 bard or leaderboard grinding in solo goblin caves or anything like that, you can swap that out for either Dancing Feet or even Reinforced Instruments. With Dancing Feet, obviously, this has not changed. This is 10 more movement speed while holding an instrument. We know why we picked this. This allows us to do our jump tech faster. This allows us to keep up faster with our instruments out while playing them. Reinforced Instruments, you would be bringing this in case you wanted to do a drum throw tech build, which is a little memey but very strong. If you get your hands on 3 or 4 purple drums and activate the option in Options General, autofill empty utility slot when using utility hotkey. If you turn that on, this will actually help your drum throwing a lot by re-implementing drums into your slot while you throw them. And if you're not doing that, you don't have to worry about that. Our 2 skills we're going to be bringing, you have 2 options now, which is not good. We have 2 double music memory, which is our standard bread and butter, what we have been doing before. Or if you are low on knowledge, you can bring dissonance. Unfortunately, this is our best secondary skill if you're not running enough knowledge to fill out the or get any songs in your second music memory slot. So if you're going in naked, base kit bard, you can bring dissonance and run 5 songs. Hey, post-production Vix here. Wanted to touch on dissonance for a little bit, as I forgot to mention this as I glossed over, but dissonance works in a frontal cone in front of you. It has about the same range, about 450 increments of range in front of the bard in a cone. It'll silence anybody except yourself for 3 seconds. This includes allies and even enemies, and can only be used while you have an instrument out. If you're running reinforced instruments, you can use dissonance with your lute out or drums, and you can begin immediately throwing your drums or using your lute for damage purposes. This can work very well for rushing down casters such as wizards and warlocks and clerics, but use at your own risk. I still personally think double song memory bard is better at this point. With that said, what song should we be taking now? Let's take a look at the music sheet. And now, if you look at the bottom here, we have a music memory priority list. Yay. One thing I want to quickly note here, music memory priority. So starting off, if you have no gear, nothing, we are stuck at 14 cost limit. The numbers on our songs, this is how much a song costs now. So Accelerando here has a 4 on it. That means it costs 4 knowledge memory to put on our song list, our song wheel, and we can fill this up all the way up as much as we want, even going over capacity. When you go over capacity, you do not have access to that song until you reach that capacity by either putting on gear or getting buffs. Speaking of gear and buffs, our 14 cost limit here, something to keep note of. Our 14 cost limit, this does not take into effect of our Storyteller buff. So with Storyteller, we get 3 knowledge and 3 will. Will increase our buff duration, and knowledge will give us more music memory. This is not calculated in the menu here. As I take music memory off, we are still at 14. As I put Storyteller back on, we are still at 14. So when you're in the game, you actually have 17 in this going forward. We also have Rousing Rhythms, which increases all of our stats by 3 for, it says 30 seconds, but actually lasts for, as we all know, 2 minutes. This will also increase our knowledge by 3, thus planning our cost limit around. As a template bard, we actually have 20 cost limit, as we have 3 from Rousing Rhythms and then 3 from Storyteller. So going forward, knowing that, what song should we be picking? Personally, this is my choice. Beats of Alacrity, Rousing Rhythms. I'll also choose Area of Alacrity, and I'll touch on that later. Shriek of Weakness. And lastly, there it is, Harmonic Shield. Now this puts me at 17, which I do not have to worry about this, as I have Rousing Rhythms and also Storyteller to give me that. So this actually means I have, you know, 3 more costs that I can use for my second slot. So personally, me starting out, again, we're looking for gear, we're looking for loot. We want to take Unchained Harmony. As it stands right now, until we get further clarification other than a green check mark from a DM message, Unchained Harmony does not implement our luck stat when we use it. So if you do not have to use Unchained Harmony while looting a chest or a coffin, a royal coffin, do not use Unchained Harmony. You open it up with your hands, so you can use your luck stat. So this is what I would run if you're starting out: solo goblin caves, doing ruins, doing trios until you get gear. This is what I would run personally. There is a new tech as well with Coral of Clarity that has been discovered. I'm sorry to the bard that has found this, but I have to make it public. If you have a teammate that needs songs back, you can have them sit down. You can play Coral of Clarity for them, and as they sit down and they have clarity running and they're getting their spells back, you can spam Coral of Clarity over and over again, and every time that you do, it gives them 1 extra tick of their spells. So this, if you have nothing else to do and one of your guys has, you know, songs or spells that they need to get back, sit down, you spam Coral of Clarity over and over and over and over, keep refreshing its duration. Every time they'll get an extra tick from it. So we will move on to our stats. What stats should we be prioritizing? What do stats do? Now we went from what, 5 stats to 7. What do we do? How do we make sure that we get all of our utility from all of our stats? Should we increase them all? Should we just increase just a few? I'll tell you. Knowledge and resourcefulness, to me and to you, that I suggest, dead weights. But I know that you're thinking that, well, knowledge gives us more song priority. And we'll touch on a little bit of that. The reason why I say knowledge is a dead stat is because one of our best stats that we want to look for on gear is all attributes. All attributes is now our best stat that we can roll on a piece of gear. Before, you can make the argument between movement speed, weapon damage, stuff like that. All stats is now a bard's best stat in the game currently. Prioritize all stats, +1, +2. Can't get +3 right now, as far as I know. All stats is going to be your best friend. Avoid knowledge and avoid resourcefulness. So when I say that, I mean do not pick up rings that have knowledge and resourcefulness if you can help it. These are not very good stats. Try and prioritize strength and agility and will. And the reason for this is because agility will increase our song casting speed. Will increase our buff duration for ourselves. And as most of our teammates that we're running with, they usually have a pretty decent amount of will themselves. So trying to go and prioritize resourcefulness for persuasion or persuasiveness is kind of a dead stat in the water. I don't know why they made persuasiveness a stat and then make it tied into resourcefulness when will also still increases buff duration. I don't know, but I will give an honorable mention to resourcefulness for its buff duration as it currently stands through testing. The persuasiveness gives a longer buff duration than will stacking will. However, it is not too big of a difference to really prioritize resourcefulness over will, because will is also giving us magic damage resistance. With that said, again, to clarify, strength, agility, will. Those 3 stats are going to be your best. So when you're looking at your gear, you want to look for strength, you want to look for agility, you want to look for all attributes, stuff like that. Weapon damage is still good. Strength is very good. Agility very good. I can't say that anymore, at least for the bard that I play. But we'll touch on builds later in the video. Gear, I want to talk about the changes to gear. A lot of changes to gear has happened since we last played. All of our hats now have a standard stat that comes with it every single time that goes up depending on its rarity. For example, straw hat here now comes with 2 strength. A green one has 2 strength. A white one will have 1 strength. I believe I have a blue one, and a blue one has 2 strength as well. I do not have a purple one. I believe a purple one will go up to 3 strength. I could be corrected on that. However, I'm pretty sure purple will go up to 3. Something to note, all of our bard hats now have other stats. Our leather bonnets now have resourcefulness, and I believe the feathered hat has knowledge. I don't have a feather hat to show you. I apologize. We have Regal Gambesons that are now giving us 35 magic resistance, cost of -15 move speed, and our armor rating has gone up a little bit. On the green one is on 53. Padded Tunics now have increased, a lot of increased armor. Good, sitting at 44 at -9 move speed. It also has +2 strength, white +1 on a white and +3 on a purple, I believe. So Padded Tunics now have strength. This is very, very good. Our Troubadour outfits have resourcefulness, and I believe our Wanderer's attire has knowledge. Our Bardic pants also have knowledge. Leather chausses, I believe, have resourcefulness. The only other Bard only item that has strength will be the straw hat. So prioritize, if I want to make a short little tier list here for Bard items or what items that I think you should be wearing, I would go something like with this set down here in the bottom right with a straw hat, a padded tunic, heavy leather legs, Lightfoot boots, adventure cloak for agility. You can also get a tatter cloak for strength. And I wouldn't particularly go for reinforced gloves. I would rather go for riveted since they come with more strength, but get what you can get your hands on. Not a big deal on the glove department. Rugged boots are also a great option now as they come with 25 magic resistance, and we will touch on a magic resist build very shortly. Now builds. We'll talk about Bard builds here. There's 4 builds in my mind, 4 of them. You have your Strength Bard, which is the Bard that I prefer to run as. You have your Agility Bard, which is up for debate to be better than Strength Bard. Personally, I like Strength. I like having more health. I like being able to hit harder. But Agility is very nice. More move speed, more action speed, more song playing speed now. We have a Magic Resist Bard and a PDR Bard. I kind of put those two in the same Magic/PDR Bard, physical damage resist. And Support Bard. Strength Bard, it's going to be really easy. This is what I try and run. I try to run all strength items as much as I can. Again, prioritizing the base items as heavy leather legs with 3 strength on that, padded tunic with strength on that, straw hats with strength on that. But you also want to keep a lookout for your weapon damage, memory capacity additional, movement speed, still very good. Pretty plain and simple. You're playing selfish buffs. You're not playing Accelerando. You're not playing Allegro. You're playing your self buffs, even sneaking in Ballad of Power if you can. Agility Bard. This is similar to the Strength Bard, but instead of prioritizing strength, you can prioritize agility, such as loose trousers that may have memory capacity, all attributes, max health, stuff like this. You can stack up on Lightfoots too for even more movement speed. Agility Bard, very good. I pretty much rank these two kind of builds hand in hand with each other right now. They're probably the 2 best to run as right now, but other than that, not much more to say about Agility Bard. Magic Resist and PDR Bard. This will require Regal Gambesons, rugged boots, reinforced gloves, leather pants, I believe. Might have to go to the merchant for this one. Nope, not leather leggings anymore. Leather leggings do not have magic resist on them anymore, so scratch that. Probably heavy leather legs on these then for more armor rating, as you get a lot of armor from heavy leather. And of course, you're going to be using a buckler with all of these builds as well. It's just more armor rating regardless, and no magic resist on the feathered hat. With this build, with the magic resist and PDR build, stacking this with our song harmonic shield, getting an extra 40 physical or armor resist and 40 magic resist, you can stack your magic resist and physical damage reduction pretty high on Bard right now with the increased armor from all of these items, especially the Regal Gambeson. I have had reports of Bards reaching about 45% magic resist and about 55% physical damage resistance at the same time running these items at blue and higher rarity. The rugged boots, the Regal Gambesons, our reinforced gloves, everything like that. Having all of your buffs up, all attributes, your will, physical damage reduction gear, all that good stuff. And with that, we'll talk about song changes. Lastly, song changes. There are some changes to our songs, but I will clarify and probably help explain and show you some of these differences. Ballad of Courage, we'll just go top down from the list that we can right now. Ballad of Courage is one that tooltip has changed, but has not actually changed. It says 5 physical power now on the tooltip. This actually gives 10 physical power still. As you scale up on weapon damage, the more value you will be getting out of Ballad of Courage. If you wanted to prioritize this on your wheel, I would put it as one of the last ones required to get from your knowledge. As you put on more knowledge gear or more all attribute gear in the dungeon. Ballad of Courage is good when you're stacking weapon damage, but without all attribute gear, this is probably like one of the last ones you want to put on the priority of your wheel, as it requires a lot of gear to become worth. Another one that has changed is Beats of Alacrity. This now says 15 movement speed on the tooltip, but instead actually gives 25 movement speed and still lasts for 2 minutes. You can test all this in game. Rousing Rhythms, as we all know already, but I'll reiterate, says it lasts 30 seconds. This actually lasts 2 minutes still. Area of Alacrity, tooltip completely lies. about both its bonus and duration. Its area of alacrity grants 8% action speed. This is actually 20% action speed, which is incredible, putting bards at the highest action speed available class in the game currently. Another reason why agility bard can be very strong, as you stack up more agility for more action speed and you get another 20% from area of alacrity. However, it does say 120 seconds for its duration. It actually lasts at baseline 55 seconds for its duration. So 20% action speed for 55 seconds. You'll notice yourself in the dungeon playing area of alacrity more often as you're traversing the dungeon instead of your rousing rhythms, your piece of alacrity, your harmonic shield, your battle of the courage. Another one that has changed is Shriek of Weakness. This now lowers physical bonus by 3, 4, and 5 respectively on the level that you play it, and armor rating bonus by 10, 20, and 30. This is correct. This works as it says and is working as intended. It lowers physical power bonus by the enemies by 5 and their armor rating by 30. Other than that, all the rest of the songs work as intended, and that will conclude our guide. Thank you for watching. I hope this helps. Is Bard dead? Let's answer the question. No, Bard is not dead. Bard is still very strong. We just now need to sit down and come together and realize that because they're throwing all of these new stats, because they're throwing musing memory at us, it's not that the class is dead. It's now we have to adapt as players to make the class as strong as possible in our own hands. These are the ways that I have found Bard to be as strong as possible in all solo, duo, and trio. And I hope this helps you in your endeavors. Thank you for watching. Big shout out to the Bard Discord. Thank you guys so much for being active. Thank you so much for putting up with my bullshit. And I hope to hear all of your thoughts in there in the Dark and Darker community Discord as soon as possible. I'm out of here.